of Hyboria under his sandaled feet. So that right there, okay, is a very strong image. So you start out with a distant image of basically what this character looks like. The Then from the rest of it, most of the Conan stories are not written from the point of view of the Conan character. Most of the scenes are written from the point of view of a woman
Mm-hmm.
who's observing
And
the character.
his descriptive paragraphs of female characters is phenomenal. I mean, he just
Yeah.
does a bang up job.
And he permits his women to describe the men, which makes the villains more frightening. Okay, because he's looking at it from a feminine perspective. Him and his father and his mother would drive around in a car that he bought with his writing money, and they would have storytelling contests.
Really?
He had two people that he called his aunts, which were, I was some Robert E. Howard aficionado chewed me out for calling them his aunts, but he called them his aunts. That they were, one was a laundress and one was a cook, but in that part of the old South, that you called them your aunts, okay? Just like
Yeah.
the kids in
Hey,
Portland will
cuz,
call me Uncle Jimmy, even though I'm not their uncle, okay?
Right.
So this, he had a very good feel for the feminine view of the monstrous and of the masculine. So he gives you a sneak peek of these menacing villains and of this really scary hero. Like his Conan character, the hero,
Oh, Conan,
is
listen,
this is a nasty dude. This is not,
Conan
you
is,
wouldn't
is
hire him to
frightening.
pave your driveway, right?
Exactly. Conan comes across like the criminal element. He really does. You never get the sense,
Yeah.
and you always get the sense too, that Conan is, I mean, he's a really wild dude. You can, as hard as I try, you cannot picture a Charlton Heston playing Conan. There is no like measured emotional distance with Conan. It's just out
The,
there.
be- the best actor there's been a few different actors that portrayed him. There's a TV series, there was the Arnold movies. Jason Momoa is by far the best
Yeah,
actor
you
for
know what? I
Conan's
can see that.
character.
I can see
Even
that.
though the movie's out there and they totally ruined the story, okay, but he did a pretty good job. He actually read the Robert E. Howard stuff, and the what Arnold did was Arnold used the Boris and Frazetta artwork on Conan, and he
Hmm.
used that from his bodybuilding mindset to do really convincing, menacing poses and stuff like that. Okay,
Yeah,
for
that's
the
a good
Conan
description
story.
of it.
And his accent worked as a barbarian. Jason Momoa actually read the Robert E. Howard material. He became like a Robert E. Howard fanatic. Okay, and he really got into the character. So I would encourage you to look at that. And the Conan character is essentially, in Howard's view, was based on Civil War General Nathan Bedford Forrest, a half-breed Indian uncle of Howard, Howard's real uncle who fought under Forrest and who was a giant of a man, okay, and is essentially like a white Indian. He's like the Natty Bumppo character from George Fenimore Cooper's Leatherstocking novel. So Conan should really be understood as he's taking Howard's Gaelic, Irish, and Scottish heritage, in which he was obsessed with,
Right.
and framing it like a prehistoric half-breed Indian of the eastern woodlands and the Appalachian Mountains. Uh, that's basically what he did with that character. And Momoa makes a good half-breed because he's part Polynesian.
Hmm.
So
And
there,
another thing too, you also, that's funny you say that, because you look at pictures of old like Algonquin Indians, okay? They're always pretty ripped. They're a pretty tough group of guys, but it's not the like the Arnold bodybuilding kind of look. And a lot of the illustrators that have come after Frank Frazetta, they have really perpetuated that in the book. But when you read it, he's strong, but he's not super bulky like
you
you would
just
think Conan is.
you just got a bubble video, Richard Barrett video. A bubble just showed up. I just want to make sure you didn't lose your sound
No,
because
I
that's.
can hear you. Hold
I
on.
mean,
I
you
think
didn't
I
lose the
think it
recording.
started recording. Did it start recording again? No. I think we're okay.
I think it probably just stopped recording.
Oh, it might have. Hold on.
Because that's similar to the sound I get with Rusty when he signs off.
Oh, okay. I didn't hit anything, so maybe it's like a time thing. I'm good to keep going if you are.
Okay. Well, let's do a couple more minutes and wrap it up, because we're probably around a 2-hour mark.
I think we're at the 3 hour, 9 minute, 49 second mark.
Okay. So it's probably time to wrap it up.
It probably is. Listen, if assuming we're going, maybe we're not. I like this. I want to do this again. I'll let you know when I'm off next. And I enjoy this because I feel like we've really gotten the big framework picture out of the way, which I've been obsessed with doing for years, and I can kind of put that to the side now. Now I'm really interested. Let's continue the nitty gritty of what's going into this writing and how we're doing it. I think that'd be fantastic.
If we could focus, what I'd like to do, if we do, we need to do an introductory podcast.
We probably should.
I mean, we did. I mean, we did. We did the introductory podcast, so we needed to do that. So if we could focus on one character or author out of the past in a podcast, and then also something that we're writing.
I think that would be really good.
Or something that we're putting out there. For instance, easy ones would be me to do the background on the writer's notes on like the different things I sent you. We already did Prentice Dolphin, okay?
Yeah.
But like the other three, we could do each podcast, we could do a discussion of them to boot up, where did I get the idea for them? How did I write them? And then we could take it to a historical one that's similar.
I like that.
Pulp Fiction that's similar to this, and then discuss the author, the character, the setting, and everything, because I don't want to leave out. We kind of did the escape hatch from the misery of postmodernity.
Yeah, we had to do that. We had to really set that up.
So if we can now do basically spend time between the fiction that we're doing now and then the fiction that was done years gone by, different authors, different heroes, and stuff like that.
I think that's awesome. I really look forward to talking about it. And like I said, I think we're still recording. I don't know if we are. If we're not, we're not. I'm going to have to get my brother to take a look at this to make sure we don't delete anything.
It'll give you a notice. It'll give you a notice that it's going to be available for 30 days or something. But when I saw that bubble come up, that's usually what I see when Rusty cuts out.
You see, I have a thing that says stop recording, and it's at 8 minutes and counting upward. But then I have another thing that says we've been going on for 3 hours and 12 minutes. So I don't know. We'll find out. Okay, but I will tell you, listen, I've wanted to do this for a long time. I've been on a quest for the right person to do it with. Okay, cool. It's probably better that you're not a smoking hot Slavic chick, because that doesn't complicate anything. I'll tell you right now that, when Yoko Ono gets in the band, it complicated things for John Lennon and Paul McCartney. So I think this is a great thing, and I'm really excited to see where this takes us, man. This is it's very cathartic for me. I don't know if it is for you, but it's very cathartic for me. I really enjoy it.
Okay, well, good. I don't seem to have any need for catharsis, but
yeah, that's because you're a whack job.
I'm sure it's part of my dysfunction. So this was good for me because it helped me frame up a couple of things that I wanted to do fiction-wise with you. So it's nice to get to know you, and we should do a regular focused recording in the future.
I think so too. And you know what? I mean, we've had a couple of phone conversations, and they're always really good. And I'd always wished I had recorded them, but I mean, now I think doing this is a great venue because it preserves what we're talking about.
Yeah, once we went into the process of you putting up a platform for this, then you don't want to waste. If you got a conversation that you would want to share any part of, you don't want to waste it. Use this content. uh, I think I would like to see set up some kind of thing where people can patronize you on Subscribestar or Patreon, and then we'll do another level of writing for that. And like I said, I would just want that to be like, uh, the stuff that shows up on there, because that's their own sites, right?
Right.
So like
Right.
if you become a Patreon member, you can suggest a story depending on your level of commitment, and here's the three different levels of story, and then the story just gets published on there. So then people in the future that join, even if they don't have an idea for a story, they're the only people that can read those stories. Like I have Plantation America articles that you can only read on Patreon unless you want to buy
Now,
one of the books.
let me ask you a question before we go. I am very excited about seeing the Sons of Arius project. Is there
Yeah,
any way? I mean, could I get an advance copy if there's one available to review?
I haven't sent you one.
No, no. This is the history book on the Indo-Europeans because
Yeah, yeah, sure.
I'd like to see this.
Yeah, I will send you that. It's a real rough form. This time last year, I chunked out a rough draft and sent it to Lynn. So she's going to have to do a ton of work on it, but she could use somebody to read it. If you want
Heck
to read it.
yeah. I look forward to that. I could talk about that all day. And I'll tell you something else. You know what? Pulp Fiction is such a great thing because in the last month, okay, since we have started getting this ball rolling on this project, I've been reading more Pulp Fiction. I've been reading criticism of Pulp Fiction. I've been in the Pulp Fiction mindset. You wouldn't believe how much happier I am, how much clearer I'm thinking, how much friendlier I am. I mean, it's a good thing. I haven't done it for years, and I thought, why did I ever stop? This is a great thing.
Yeah, you're in a good spot. I'm glad to hear that. Did I send you an email along with Rusty?
Yes, you did. I saw that at
He's
work yesterday, and I'm going to respond.
he's interested in talking to you sometime on a podcast on there. I'll give you a chance to promote this. You guys, I think we'll hit it off. The uh, like I said, as soon as you can get up something like Patreon set up, we'll just have to come up with something to put on there. There's supposed to be some kind of content that goes up there for people, and then initially it could just be a article on like a writer challenge. I want James to write a story on this. Say for if you're like a $20 pledge, I'll do a vignette. If you're a $50 pledge, then I'm going to write you a short novel. Or $5 pledge, maybe. Who knows? You set it up like people that don't get to demand to write a story, people to get a vignette, people to get a short story, people to get a short novel. Okay, and then all
I
that
like that
content
idea.
would just go on there, and that would be fun. I'll write up an article framing it, and you could just put the dollar signs on it, and that could be your recruitment engine. And eventually, the idea is it's going to become a magazine, that your website's a free clearinghouse. The other thing I would do is, let's say Prentice Martin, Prentice Dolphin, I sent you that. Now, in each one of these novels I write now, there's an interlude. The interlude chapter is the break from where the free content stops and then where they got to buy the book.
I like that idea. I like it a
So
lot.
I've been doing that. I've been doing that for a while. So what I would do with Prentice Dolphin is you post up to and including the interlude on the WordPress site, and then the rest of it gets serialized once a month on the Patreon site or on the Subscribestar site, where people have to pay to read on there. So you end up with, you're putting it behind a paywall, and people are going there. So you're doing an online magazine. So it's exactly at their pulp, because the people are subscribing to your magazine. If they want to get the ending, they're going to have to buy it.
Right. I think that's a great idea because, one of my favorite books by a guy named Russell Brunson. He wrote a series of 2 books, and he was mentored by one of the leading copywriting sales letter writers in the world. He's quite a character, was a Mormon wrestler, and has done very well with online sales of all manner of products. And that's his whole thing. You give a free lead magnet to get the reader or whoever the prospective buyer is really liking it. Then you want to get something a little better. Okay, you got to pay for it. All the way up to the $10,000 tickets at the Pulp Fiction conference in Tahiti. I don't know.
Yeah,
You
and
know.
the other thing with the 3 novels that I sent you that I wrote years ago that you can serialize the whole thing. Decide on like the last 3 chapters, the conclusion, put them on Patreon. So you're going to have a ton of free content on the WordPress site, and then they could go to your site where you're going to be making money and financing things, uh, to read the conclusion, which I would say the last 3 chapters and the epilogue, which is really
Well,
only a fraction of it.
the big battle, the big climax, the one that you want to really see. That's what you pay for.
Yeah, so
Everything, the build up to get you invested, that's what's free. You get really excited and say, okay, I've got to see how that turns out.
with
I
those
think that's
things
great.
I was writing those before I came up with this short novel format where I have an interlude. With those things, as you read along in post, you'll get to a chapter at some point and say, okay, this is where I go behind a paywall.
Okay.
But you're going to have to make that call.
I like that idea.
You're
I
the
like
editor,
that idea.
and you got those 3. So, and you got Prentice, Dolphin, and that'll be both. So you got 4 to start serializing. I figure that's enough work, and I can write new stuff for behind the paywall for any of those suggestions.
I think that's phenomenal. I look forward to it, and I think that you get to this. We really build this up, and one question I have is how many of your readers are writers themselves? And it seems like there's been a couple more people write in saying I'd like to write more myself. How many of them are? Is it growing?
Okay, about 4 years ago, it seemed like 400 of my readers were writers.
Out of how many readers were there?
I was at that point up to like 20,000. Now
Whoa!
I'm down.
Well, hold up there. You were at 20,000 readers?
I got to 27,000 a couple years ago. Now I'm down to like 5,000 readers. Okay.
Wow.
But I looked at one article I wrote on. I looked at my articles that I did on writing, where people asked me those questions, and they all got 200 reads right away.
Wow.
So there's like 200 of my regular readers are interested in writing, and I know for a fact like a dozen of them have written articles.
Now, let me ask you, is that, so if I go back to look those on writing articles up on your website, which I'm going to do, is it just is it under the tag of writing? Is that what I should look up?
Probably be under author's notes.
Author's notes? Okay.
I think that's a pretty old tag.
Okay.
So I've, the entire Writing Unchained, my ex-girlfriend edited for me, which is a really big book on writing stuff that I did.
Really? It was a James Lafond how-to writing manual. Is that what I understand correctly?
Yeah, but not about grammar. That's for sure.
Well, who cares about that? You can find that anywhere. Is that book available? Is that book out there?
Yeah.
What's it called?
Writing Unchained. And if you buy it, Denise will get the money. Okay, I mean she owns it. I gave it to her. So what we did is she edited that and she published it, and I gave her 3 other books of mine that I wrote to edit and publish in return for her like editing like a few other books of mine.
Okay.
So like Stalker Jones and Writing Unchanged, those are her books. Okay.
Now let me ask you a question, James. In your many amorous adventures, do you enjoy dating creative, artistic chicks more so than non-creative, artistic chicks, or is it neutral? What's your take on that?
Oh, wow! I have not noticed that a level of a woman's artistic pursuits had any effect on her cooking or on her bedtime companionship. I mean, so I don't, and it definitely hasn't had any bearing on their loyalty. So the 3 things that women are good for, other than reproducing, sex, cooking, loyalty, reproduction. I haven't noticed where their liberal arts degree or their artistic pursuits have had any bearing on these things. So,
Very interesting. I know that question was kind
of
of off topic on the whole thing.
The girl that was the girl that was the writer and the editor, and she was very artistic. She sang, she played the ukulele, she played the piano. She would play piano when I read. I liked her because she was built like an exaggerated hourglass. Okay, I mean I could have, you know, I was.
You could take or leave the piano and ukulele playing.
Right. I mean, it was nice. You know, it was very pleasant. But primarily, her God bestowed her with her qualifications for my attention. So.
That's good. That's a good thing. And so if I buy Writing Unchained, that's going to go to Denise. I'm going to do that because I look forward to seeing what you have to say on writing. Is that an Amazon book? Is it available on your website? Where do I go to get that?
It's an Amazon book. It doesn't exist as an ebook.
Okay. I don't really like ebooks. I mean, the stuff you send me is I print it out like I'm an old man. Because, I mean, look at me. That's what I am.
Yeah, so it's just a print book. But, yeah, she even, at the end of it, we were in the process of breaking up as we were finishing the end of the book together. And she actually interviewed me for the end of the book because there were some things about me that bothered her. And she even wrote in there in between some of my quotes, "Listen to this arrogant son of a bitch," you know, something like that. You know, I mean, she was like, she's like, "Aren't you worried about?" You know, she was telling me how bad fluoride was in your water, how it degraded your mental capacity and everything. Well, and when I saw the evidence, I really think there's something to it. And it just doesn't really serve much of a purpose. It's more or less a poison that weakens our minds. But she said, "Why are you still drinking water out of the tap?" I said, "Well, I thought you found their conversations interesting, and you have a little bit of a competitive edge to you in our conversations, and I didn't want to leave you feeling totally left behind." So, so you know, maybe the fact
and that's what you get in On Writing and then some. That's it.
So, you know, maybe the fact that I still drink fluoridated water, you know, it's enable me to continue to have interesting conversations with her. I don't know. She's a smart girl. Almost probably a little bit smarter than the average guy. You know, most women are really stupid. I mean, they're just people don't really. A lot of women don't even realize how stupid they are. You know, so you know. But so for a chick, she was really smart. Not the smartest chick I know, but she was really smart. So it'd be nice if she got a couple bucks for that book, and it's actually edited. You know?
That's nice. Now let me ask you: do you find that the women in your life serve as some manner of creative muse to your writings?
Some of them do, but not because you know, we're intimate or anything. I probably have more men as muses than women, and it's just this is the person that's framing the question in your mind that's driving you to write the answer. So I have a couple of women that are powerful muses who I've written books for, based on a conversation they had. You know, one time this lady is laying in bed next to me. She said, "Wow, I would really like to know what's going through your head right now." I said,
"Yeah,
no, you wouldn't. No, you wouldn't."
You did I believe you brought that up on a podcast. I remember watching that in particular.
So
it was very interesting.
So I wrote a story about what was going through my head right there, and it's something that she would throw up if she read it. You know.
Interesting.
So I'm working on the two novels I'm trying to do this month are Ditcher and Cube. So they're both heroic dystopian fiction. Cube is about a prize fighter 100 years from now, when they fight in a magnetized cube. Okay, and Ditcher is about a criminal about 20 years from now, set right here amongst these people.
You know, very nice.
right when the Chinese companies are starting to take over.
I like it. I like it a lot. I look forward to reading all those. I look forward to reading what you have, and I look forward to continuing to do this project. I think that's a natural stopping point, but we're going to continue this conversation. I look forward to more of it, and this is I'm enjoying this, man. I've been waiting for something like this for a long time, and I'm really enjoying this.
Oh, well, thanks for adopting my bad literary behavior as one of your causes.
Well, you know what? I didn't have anybody else to adopt mine, so I figured, hey, here we are.
I was the only one at the orphanage for
yeah, that's right.
Place writers. Okay, all right. Well.
Don't pat yourself on the back. I mean, wasn't a lot of options, The
hobo history guy, Incognito, told me. I asked. He called me up. I said, "What are you doing?" He said, "Well, I was just working with some white trash." I was like, "Please tell me that you have not replaced me." Okay. He's like, "No, I was working on a white trash episode we did on hobo history." He said, "Besides, I think your job is pretty secure because you are the only hobo I know who has written over 200 books. So until I find another one,
yeah,
you're it." So
I did. I tell people when I tell people, and I really want to just screw with them. I say, "Listen, this guy right now is my best friend. Okay, he's a homeless hobo." And I had a guy I was working with the other day go, "Well, that is not something you hear every day, is it?" And my 6-year-old brother, he's like, "Does he have one of those sticks with a bandana on it? And he keeps all his stuff tied in a bandana at the end of his stick?" I said, "I don't know, but he would have something like that. That's for sure." And you would probably say, "Richard, you really need to find some better friends."
Look, before we go, since you brought that up, I'm taking my mic off. I've got to show you my hobo stick.
Let's see it.
A trench coat. Okay. This is for the industrial hobo.
Look at that.
Solid aluminum here. This is threaded on this crutch handle. There is a bandana. It's used to cover the galvanized steel gas caps and joints. So this is a galvanized steel pipe joint for high pressure gas lines with 2 caps on it. Okay, so this will knock a hole in a helmet. Okay, so this is my hobo cane. All right. Sorry about the jock straps are hanging up to dry.
That's okay. I mean, I'll show you what I'm dealing with here. Look at this, man. It looks like an episode of Hoarders. All right. Stephen Edley.
Okay,
that's fantastic.
Thanks for joining my hoarding station. You can show your brother the cane.
Hey, I will. He's gonna appreciate that because he's always asking, "What does James Lafond look like? What does James Lafond do?" Well, this is it. This is it right here. It's just kind of like, do you ever watch MTV Cribs? Where one of the celebrities takes you through their houses, and he comes in and he's always like, "And this is where the magic happens, right here, guys." And he opens up the refrigerator, and this is James Lafond Hobo Cribs.
Yeah, this is my den right there. That's where I write.
So. That's awesome. That is awesome. All right, brother. Well, listen, thank you for doing this with me. We're going to do it again.
Take care.
And same to you, brother. You have a good one, all right?
All right, Richard. Take care.
See you later, brother.
All right. Bye-bye.